last year you had the current #1 player
Yes,
in the world,
we
Naomi
did.
Osaka.
Yes.
And she was a semi-finalist here, if I recall correctly. Yep. Do you think that you'll be able to attract such big names this year as well, like Osaka, Alex de Minaur, who's obviously a great up-and-coming player? Do you feel like that will be the case?
So, well, we hope so. We also had Sam Stosur, who's an ex-Grand Slam. Obviously, she's not as high in the rankings as what she was. So we were very lucky. So we had a very strong field, and obviously with Joanna Conta being here as well. She's made the final 2 years in a row now. So we're hoping that she'll come back again. I think a lot of it with the top players will be around how they progress through the French Open, because sometimes they finish early and then because they get knocked out, and then they want to get on the grass courts as soon as they can. Yeah, a lot of the other ones, if they go longer through the French, then they might start a little bit later, maybe go and start there at Birmingham. Now, ours is a 250 event, the women's, where Birmingham's a 500, so the ranking points are different as well, and the amount of seeded players that you can have, or in the top 10 or the top 20. So we're a little bit limited in that, but you know, like you mentioned, we had some great people last year, and it'd be great if Naomi came back again. But I'm maybe she's going somewhere else first, or do I got some other plans? But we hope to have Joe and a few others, and I guess the tournament director, Rebecca James, she'll be looking to try and get us obviously the best field possible. The men's is a different one because it's a Challenger Tour trophy. It's the highest Challenger Tour trophy. So
it's a 125, right?
Yeah, so the 100 grand. Yeah. So Alex, again, I'd love it if you came back. We had 2 Australian winners, and not that I'm biased for that, being Australian myself, but I think we might struggle for him to come back. But again, it's great for seeing some of the British talent come through, and some of the younger guys, Cam Norrie, you know, Dan Evans, again, he's doing really well at the moment. So hopefully he might come back. And even Kyle Edmonds played a Challenger Tour over in the States. Exactly. So we don't know, but it's really nice to know with people like Alex. You know, he won here first year, and it was sort of the start of his climb, and we hope that they remember us, and maybe, but yeah, so we have to have a see. But you know, Rebecca James, again, the tournament director, should be trying really hard to get as many of those top players as possible.
So the LTA contributes a lot during the time of the tournament, or in the time leading up to the tournament, but how is the financing for the structure coming from the LTA? How is the whole structure financed? Is it a private institution? Who are the stakeholders?
Okay, so the LTA are the funder, or they fund the tournament. What the city council do is give the facility to the LTA in order to host the event, and that's where we work in the partnership of that. When it comes to the cost of the facility, so we build a players lounge area, we put in marquees, we do all of that cost is absorbed by the LTA. So they pay for all of that, and they pay for all of the tournaments. So Nottingham, Birmingham, Eastbourne, Queens, and so on. So they fund all of those, so that the cost is directly absorbed by the LTA. And generally speaking, there's not a lot of profit in that. There's generally, the tournaments run at a loss due to the expense and the cost, and the grass courts costing X, Y, and Z to maintain, etc., etc. Yeah, so that's sort of how the structure, if you like, works.
Yeah, that was my next question, actually. Grass courts are obviously the hardest one to maintain and probably the most expensive. How early do you need to start preparing? Do you need to start setting up the courts in order for them to be absolutely perfect by the time that the players show up for the tournament?
So it's a 12-month program in relation to the grass courts. The marking, so the finishing touches are done a little bit obviously closer to the time of the actual tournament commencing, but there'll be different programs set in. So there'll be a winter program where different seeding would take place. Then there'll be your autumn, your spring renovations, those type of things where different chemicals will be used at different times to get the courts to help them get through the winter season, and also to help them grow stronger and actually better wear better, so that the courts stay in top strong conditions for the players all the way up to the final. So it's we have a team of, well, we have 3 full-time and an apprentice who manage to look at the courts on an annual basis, and we have now 13 grass courts, like purpose-built 13 grass courts. So it's a big site to manage that. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of cost.
And do you use like the 100% composite rye that Wimbledon uses, or is it like a similar grass to the one in Wimbledon, or is it, are you aware of any differences between the two? Because Wimbledon's grass has been a little criticized for having been slowed down over the course of the years. Yeah. I don't know whether.
I'm probably not the right person to talk to about the different types of grass.
Sure.
But I can tell you that what they've been doing, not Wimbledon specifically, but I think there's been a lot of technology put into the tennis balls as well, around the balls, and trying to make it a little bit slower, because in theory everybody likes to see more rallies, and it makes TV, you sell the TV better than you do with quick points like there maybe was 10 years ago. But on the grass we work very closely with Wimbledon, and the centre was honoured actually to win 2 years ago. We won the best grounds team of the year as an award across the whole of the UK, and we actually were shortlisted against Wimbledon. So we beat Wimbledon that year and won the title. So, but we work very closely with the Wimbledon team, and they're very helpful to us. And there's a really close knit through all of the grounds teams and all of the facilities that have the grass courts and run the events. So, we have a very good team here, but we work very closely with Wimbledon.
One final question.
Sure.
Are there any professional players based here? Because I know that there are a few who are based in Roehampton, for instance. Are there any based here?
So the LTA have just launched a new performance pathway, and there's a national academy at Loughborough University.
And the other one in Stirling.
Correct, yeah. And we at the centre have a regional, an RPDC, a regional player development centre, and also an LPD, which is local player development centre. And that's for 14 and unders, and then 11 to 14s, and then from 10 below. So we have the 2 younger age categories that we hope we will feed into the national. In relation to sort of international players, or we have one player, Freya Christie, who you maybe have not heard. She was up to about 300 in the world in singles. I think she's about 250 in doubles now. So she trains here with us. She's Nottingham born and bred. We also used to have Dan Evans practice here quite a lot, because Mark Hilton, his coach, is from Nottingham, so they used to train a lot here. Not so much now. Mark still comes here when he's home and not travelling around. He's with Kyle now at the moment. And then the other person who does practice here a bit, who we're trying to support, is Jay Clark. Okay, so Jay obviously did very well in the mixed doubles.
Wild card last year.
Yeah, he did wild card in the singles, and then I think they made the quarters or semi-finals of mixed with Harriet Dart. If you have a check last year, I'm sure you'll see that one. I'm pretty sure, and that's Harriet Dart who did well in the Fed Cup in the doubles. So he practices here as well. But outside of that, we don't.
Well, that's quite a few names.
Well, we're a fantastic facility. We're the biggest. We're the biggest community indoor centre arguably in Europe, because you don't need to be a member to come and use our facility. Anybody can walk off the street and go and use our gym, or you can just book a court. You don't need to have a membership.
How many subscribers do you have?
So, well, we have people who take coaching weekly with us. We have nearly 1,200 a week. So that's about 900 children and about 300 adults who take coaching a week.
How many coaches?
About eight or nine.
For that many people?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then...
must be stressful.
Yeah, well, they're all busy, which is what they want. But we also have just general play people who just, join our social tennis or play in our teams, or are members at the gym, where we have nearly, up to 900 members in the gym as well. So we're a lot busier than what we were 3 or 4 years ago. We had 400.